Hi everyone and welcome to today's episode. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a doll cake, and I have chosen the frozen theme because my best friend is having a birthday and her son has picked out her theme this year and he wants a frozen cake because his mom has blonde hair, Elsa has blonde hair, so he wants a frozen themed birthday. So can't disappoint, we gotta make him happy. All of the items that I will be using in today's project, I've made a list in the description below. So if you'd like to make a cake very similar, you know everything that I have used. The first thing that I wanted to show you is the pan that I baked this dome cake in. And it is made by Wilton, and it's got a rod right in the center that you just hook right in the centerpiece, and it bakes perfectly, and the heat is distributed through this rod right in the center. So this made it very simple for me to get the dome effect for my cake. But if you don't have access to this type of pan, you can also use a glass bowl, which works just fine. Just lower your baking temperature by about 25 degrees. So the next step to our cake is once they are baked, let them cool completely as always. Today I've got two 8-inch rounds in my dome cake, which is 8 inches on the bottom. And I have went ahead and I have cut out with a cookie cutter just right in the center of all of my cakes. And I've made a center hole so my cakes kind of look like a donut, so that the doll will fit perfectly down on the inside of the cake. So we're gonna act just like normal with these cakes. So we're gonna put it here, fill it, stack it, and we'll be good to go. So today I have a cake lifter, and I think we've talked about this before. It is a flat metal sheet, and it basically just helps you get your cake from point A to point B. You know, it just helps you to keep it from cracking and breaking on you. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lift up my cake. So now you can see the circle that's cut out in the center. And I'm just gonna leave this right on here, and I'm gonna bring my cake board to my cake so that it doesn't split. And I like to put the crumb side down because it makes it a little bit neater whenever you are filling your cake. Before I ice this, what I want to do is help support that top layer. So I have taken a 6-inch round and I've just hollowed out the center the same size as the holes in my cake. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna set this right on top and support it with straws or rods underneath. I put 4 on there, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of icing to the bottom of my cardboard, just so that it adheres to the cake. And now we're ready to add the dome. Set it right on there, look at that. Oh boy. So, now we have our mold of our cake. So now that I have all of my cakes stacked, now we're just gonna cover the entire outside with our icing. And I have colored this light blue to match Elsa's dress. So this should be pretty simple, and you're just gonna do it like you would a regular cake. So now that we have our cake completely iced, I'm gonna pop this in my freezer for about 5 to 10 minutes, just so that the icing will harden a little bit and we can smooth it out a lot better. Here I go. While we wait on our cake icing to harden, I'm going to show you how to make a fondant outfit for your doll. For instance, mine doesn't have painted clothes on it, so I'm going to have to make something or pipe icing onto that dress. I'm going to make it really simple, and we're going to make like a fondant little top because you're not going to see her bottom half anyway. So I'm just going to unpackage the doll. Okay, so now that we have our Elsa doll finally out of the packaging, oh, they've got her hair tied to her arm. Goodness gracious, really? So we're gonna disrobe her. We're gonna take her shoes off. Cute little shoes. I'd like to have some like that. Look, they got little icicles on the back. Super cute, girl. Goodness, this dress is tight. Oh, I didn't have all the Velcro undone. Okay, so you're going to want to keep your outfit to the side so that whenever you take her out of the cake, you can wash her off and redress her. So she's all good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread her arms like this and kind of try to keep her hair out of the way because we are going to make a little fondant top for her. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put out some wax paper. It makes it a lot easier whenever you're rolling out your fondant. So I've got my fondant and I've dyed it the same color as the bottom half of her dress. And so I'm just gonna roll this out pretty thin. I'm not using guides, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Now that I have my fondant at the thickness that I'm wanting it, I am going to cut off the bottom, and I'm gonna do the same to the top, just so that it gives it a long torso. And I'm gonna lay it across her body so that we can kind of go in with our fondant tools. So here's my fondant tools, and I'm just gonna go in with a little, it looks like a little toothpick kind of thing. So I'm cutting this longer, like the little piece that I'm gonna wrap around her, longer than I know, like way more than enough. And I'm gonna wrap this across her body. And so I'm just looping it around her back. I couldn't do that again if I wanted to. That's like perfect. This is what's gonna go down in your cake, and this is all gonna be hidden. So what we can do is we can go in with our white icing and kind of add her maybe like a neckline. Elsa has sleeves, but unfortunately I can't put that on this doll. So unless you wanted to cut the outfit that you got and maybe put some saran wrap or plastic wrap on the bottom of the dress so that it doesn't get greasy from the icing, you can maybe do that and still have sleeves. But for fondant's sake and everything being edible, we're not going to be able to do that today. Since Elsa has a little bit of a line here, I'm just going to go in and just kind of crease it and make kind of like a little heart right around her chest. So there, I've just made her like a little, just a little crease in her dress and kind of curved it out. So there we go. That was super simple. So now that we've got this on her, we're ready for the cake. So our cake is now out of the freezer, and I'm just gonna go back and I'm just gonna tap this down just to kind of help it along. And then I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna show you guys a trick that I like to use, and I think it works like a charm every time. It looks really good, especially when you need something to be super smooth. And all it is a warm glass of water and your icing spatula. Okay, so I've got me a glass of hot water, and I've got me a napkin off to the side. I'm gonna use the same spatula that we use to ice our cake for this. So I'm gonna get it nice and warm. I'm gonna go back in a little bit, tap it off, and then you just go back and you just start smoothing. And you're gonna get a little bit of icing on there, but that's okay. If you see some crumbs coming through on your cake, that is okay. What we're gonna do is we are gonna decorate this cake, and you can pop a snowflake or a sprinkle or something over the top where you're not even gonna be able to see it. Now that I have finished smoothing out my cake with the warm water, I'm gonna pop this back in the freezer just for a few minutes, just to kind of let it dry, and then that way we're ready to start decorating. Back in the freezer. So now that our cake is smooth, iced, everything, I have went ahead and I've inserted my Elsa doll. Now there was a little bit of gap in between her stomach and the front of the dress, so all of the scraps that I shaved off, I kind of stuffed it inside just so that it would fill up that gap. So I stuffed all of that, covered it with the same blue icing, and now you can't even tell. It's a little bit bigger on the front, but typically ball gowns are larger. Like if they wear one of those hoop things underneath it, it's large all around, so can't really tell. I have kept her hands straight up in the air, and I'm using her hand to hold the ponytail out of my way for decorating. Now this dress, this top part that we did, fits perfectly. Except for her little butt back here, we got a little bit, but it's just a little bit, so we're gonna be able to cover it up with icing. So now we are ready to start decorating. Since Elsa is kind of sparkly and all this, I have some color mist that I'm just gonna lightly spray right on top just to give it that shimmer effect. Now you want to be in a room that is pretty open and ventilated, because this stuff kind of gets strong sometimes. I'm just gonna lightly spray, just like hairspray. Okay, I said lightly spray. Just kidding, I'm going crazy on it. I know you probably can't see that well right now, but it is kind of shimmery, kind of got that silver effect to it. So I think it's gonna look really pretty. So now, the very first thing that I'm gonna start doing is my border. So of course, I'm gonna start in the back so that you can't see where I start and finish. So now I'm done with my bottom border, and this dress, you can pretty much decorate it however you want. Do your own thing, make it look really cute, really unique. I think I'm gonna go over the top, and I'm just gonna make little stars to kind of like snowflakes to cover up her body, you know? They look like little snowballs. All right, I think that looks really cute so far. So what I'm gonna do is I found these at Walmart in the cake decorating section, and these were just hanging up, and they have a little frozen section, and so I found these are candy sprinkles. So they come in like purple and blue and white. So I'm gonna use just the white ones to put on this cake. And I'm just gonna kind of randomly place this. I'm gonna push it in the icing to make sure that it sticks. And what I do is I'm trying to cover up any crumbs that I have in the dress, in the icing. And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna pipe in some little, like some larger snowflakes with icing and a number 3 tip. I'm gonna use these little blue ones and go in between all of my border just to add like a fun little snowflake effect. So what I like to do, just in case I don't have enough, is go every other one. See, I'm doing that on the border, going every other one just in case I don't have enough. So now I'm gonna change out my tip and I'm gonna do some larger snowflakes on the dress. Well guys, now that I have decorated the bottom of my dress, I've also added Happy Birthday Stephanie to the bottom of the cake, and then I've went around it with some whimsical kind of snowflakes, and looks like it's kind of wisping through the air. And I've left a little spot here for Olaf because I found this and I thought he was just so cute. And he's plastic on the bottom, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add some little icing all around the bottom. There we go. And then I'm just gonna add him right there. So he's like hanging out with Elsa. Of course, we've got some cool little frozen party plates to go along with our cake whenever we cut into it, so I can't wait for that. Well guys, I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode and learned how to easily make a Barbie cake. So if you couldn't find the Elsa doll, you could get a different doll with similar hair color, braided up, and there you have it. They also sell little half-bodied Barbies, like picks, so you can just stick that right inside your cake. You can use that as well. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you soon for more SugarVol cake videos. Her legs sound like chopsticks.